Yes, folks, I'm here to give my take on the Knife Ninja and Colaz Smith drama. Yes, folks. I thought about it and I've listened to several reactors, couple of their videos, and I went back to view some of Knife Ninja's earlier videos from way back, just to get a feeling to understand who he is and what his mission is all about. Yes, I've been watching Colaz Smith for quite a long time, so I quite understand his mission, but I don't know too much about Knife Ninja's mission. I knew that he was feeding the people in Kingston somewhere there, but I don't believe I watched too many of those videos. So I'm not sure how he does that down there in Kingston, the Kingston homeless feeding. But I thought about his message that he came out and he did a video about texting Colaz and letting him know that he's no longer want to work with the group in Kingston. Basically, he's saying that he wants to go on his own. And I don't see anything wrong with that. The only thing that I see, and I agree with some people that they say that he should not have text Colaz with a very important decision like that. He should wait until he come back and have that decision discussed with him face to face. But folks, we can easily, and then again I thought, we can easily say what he should do and what he shouldn't have done and what, we don't know what was going on into this young man's mind, his emotions at the time when he decided to just take the bull by the horn and decide that this is how he's going to do it. He probably didn't think about it for too long because he probably was just going through certain emotional feelings at the time, and he decided to act in a compulsive way. We are humans, and sometimes we get a little anxious and we want to get something done, and we're not going to wait around. We're not going to wait around if it's by text message or by a phone or by telegram or by whatever, and we decide that we're going to do something today. Today is the day that we're going to finalize this thought that is running over in our heads. We're going to do it. And this young man, Knife Ninja, he's only a human. And I thought of it and I said, I think, I'm not a psychiatrist, but I'm a mature senior citizen. And sometimes I try to walk in somebody else's shoe and to understand their feelings and how they're, what they're feeling. And I thought about it, this big drama that took place just because he came out and said that, and some things that he probably shouldn't have said. But we have to take his feelings into consideration and his thought into consideration, that this is a young man that has a family and he wants to do the best for his family. He wants a job, change a job from what he's doing, feeding the people, the homeless in Kingston, and he wants to do something else. That's fine. But I don't believe that all of this have anything to do with Colaz. The blame is put on Colaz that people are saying that, him is saying that, but some people are thinking that, he should work a little harder to get himself where he wants to, and that they use the word bad mind and hate and all kind of things coming up into the picture. But I don't think the hate and the bad mind and all of that had so much to do with this drama, like his frustration. His frustration, and I believe his frustration, it's a common emotional response. And it's a common emotional response to the inability to achieve a desired goal. And when I watch his videos from way back, I realize that, he's probably frustrated. And it comes out as hate and bad mind and all of these poison words that people are putting this thing on, putting his actions on. But personally, I don't believe it's hate. I don't believe it's grudgeful. I don't believe it has anything to do with all of those things. His actions have nothing to do with all of those things. I believe his action was out of frustration. Frustration, because I've watched a couple of his videos on one time when he was attempting to do other businesses. I think he had some cologne or what he was planning to showcase and to sell. And I saw again a time when he was talking about, if I'm not wrong, a catering or some kind of a restaurant thing. So he has his plans. And I believe he was going, at that moment when he did this video, he was going through an emotional time where he decided to do this video because his emotions, I guess, got the better of him because of his frustration, emotional respond to the inability to achieve a desired goal. So typically it manifested in him not able to reach his goal because he was not able to go through with some of the plans that he had made. And he got very frustrated. What I'm saying may not make sense to some people, but frustration can lead up, manifested in all different ways. He probably disappointed of not meeting his goals, because he had plans and he wasn't able to reach it within a certain time. And his feelings of annoyance and disappointments, or anger. So these are the things that I see that's played out into the actions of Knife Ninja, especially disappointment. And the disappointment comes from probably he was expecting too much. He was expecting too much because he set his expectation so high, either on himself or on Colaz. And when he saw that these expectations were not being met, then he probably, based on his actions, I could say, he probably get a little upset, a little annoyed, a little mad, and taking out his frustration on Colaz. I don't believe Colaz deserve all of that because he tried to help him as a friend, that they knew one another from way back when they were much younger. And I can see that he has been kind to Knife Ninja. Can you imagine the thousands of dollars that he spent on the trip to where did they go to? Overseas, somewhere there. Saint Vincent, yeah. I think they went to Saint Vincent. And Colaz paid for that trip. And then Knife Ninja got disappointed, very disappointed, because he was expecting also for Colaz to take his brother. And Colaz were not able to, even if it's at the last minute. I mean, it's his budget. And it costs a lot to pay for so many. I don't know how many of them, if it's 3 and Colaz make 4, I'm not sure. But that's expensive, a return fare anywhere. So he was a little disappointed about that because, of course, then he set his expectations so high that he was very disappointed, And this is part of the problem, people. Part of the problem that we have as humans is setting our expectations so high that we get, when someone not able to meet our expectations, we get very upset and we get very disappointed because we set our standard and our expectations so high, and when people are not able to meet it, then people who set their expectations so high, they get very disappointed, or sometimes they get hungry, and they're annoyed with the other person because the other person were not able to meet their high expectations. And instead of people using the word hate and bad mind and all of these things, I think we should use other words to, like setting high expectation, setting our standard too high, and expecting our friends or our associates to meet these standards, to meet these high expectations that they are setting. And it is not right because they're only setting up themselves for a fall. If they go around and setting up high expectation and setting up high standard that people cannot meet, because nowadays people have their own business to tend to, and they can't always meet somebody else's expectations, you know. And this is why sometimes, I'm not saying about this young man, in general I'm speaking, because people always misinterpret um, what anybody is saying. So it's not referred to Knife Ninja. I'm talking in general. People sometimes try to live way beyond their means. They go get into things that they cannot afford, and then they expect that a friend or a family member or somebody will help them out. And maybe at that time when they need the help and they're looking to certain people, that person is not able to do the request at that time. And then you hear that you're this and you're that and whatever. But people should try and to limit themselves to what they can afford and not setting themselves up for great disappointments when they go on and do things that they cannot afford. As the old people used to say, hang in your basket where you cannot reach it. You know, it's not easy. It's not a nice feeling to be disappointed because you've set high expectations. So I've always said in several of my videos that people should not set high expectations, expect too much from others. You know, they should just try and rely on themselves and do what they can for themselves and not depending on others. So this is my take. This is my take on that situation, that big drama going on YouTube. So many people have their different opinions of what's going on with Knife Ninja and his brother and Colaz Smith. But what I can say is Colaz Smith is entitled to come out and defend himself. Yes, he has to do that. He has to come out and defend himself. Cannot allow people to say all kind of things and then keep quiet. No, there's a time for everything. There's time when he keep quiet and there's a time when he has to come out and defend himself. So that's my take on this, folks, and I hope that people don't take it personally and twist it around. But I try to balance out this thing and not taking sides, because these are two young men. These are two young men. Colaz had worked very hard from he started YouTube. He has been working hard night and day. Sometimes when people are sleeping, he's still out in the bush with his team working, and to get where he is. It's not an overnight thing, but some people are in a hurry to reach somewhere when it's not overnight. You got to put in the work, put in the hours, put in the time, and when you do make money, you have to know how to manage it. So what I notice about Colaz is that he can manage his time, and he manages time so well. Manages time and manages money. So he has that skill. He has that cutting edge. That's the cutting edge that a lot of people are missing out on. They see him, oh, Colaz is making money. Colaz is making money. But then they're not looking at the cutting edge. The cutting edge of Colaz Smith is time management, money management, and all those skills that he has with technology. Yes, so those three things: technology skills, time management skills, and money management. Because many people would work money and they don't know how to spend it. But he put his money into investment and he knows how to do it. Yes, and he knows how to manage his time. Because of course, people, time is money. So if you have the time, you can use it and you can make money when people are sleeping. So that's my story today, that I come to share my take on the whole drama. And as far as I see, the whole drama hardly has anything to do with Colaz. It has more to do with Knife Ninja. I see clearly, and I do believe what I see clearly, that Knife Ninja is or was frustrated. He was frustrated, folks. And I believe that's why he came out and made that video, maybe without even thinking it out clearly. Frustrated because all the goals and all the plans that he made didn't seem to fall through. So he decided to do something else. And this is the something else that he decided to do. Probably try to take over the Kingston homeless feeding territory. Yeah, I don't believe in that either. I believe if Knife Ninja want to continue to feed the homeless, he could find another area. He doesn't have to continue with the same area that Colaz Smith had employed him for. And as far as the pots and pans and the equipments, I wouldn't even mention that on the here. If he's not working with the company anymore, then he has to return the equipments. You know, there's no if and but about that. Unless the boss decide to say, well, okay, you can keep the equipment, but he needs them to start up another group. Because in the first place, as I was watching a live with this man on the YouTube, I think his Vibes is his name. Colaz said that he was the one that found the job for Knife Ninja. Yes, Colaz Smith created that position for Knife Ninja when he was laid off from the call-in center. So it is that area of feeding the homeless is Colaz Smith spot. That's the area where he started the job with that he gave to Ninja. So if Ninja want to get into the same field, I believe that it's only fair and it's only decent for him to find his own area. Find his own area. This Kingston is so large. He could find another area and start fresh to do his homeless, feeding the homeless. Because of course, as Colaz Smith said, he's gonna continue with that same area. He's gonna put some new team members there. So Knife Ninja will have to find a different area to start out is feeding the homeless. Because the place is large. The area is large, so you can find another area and start from there. I don't think anything is wrong with that. So I wish them both luck, and I hope that they work out. I hope that they work out their differences, and that people would stop being so hard on Knife Ninja. You know, cut him some slack. Cut him some slack, people, because he's entitled to change his mind and change his plans and to set goals for himself. So if he feels he's not growing, then he probably can grow on another soil, on different soil.